Okay, now we are talking about some ways that you can update your website. Once again, this might be something you're like, I don't know what to put out there or how to use it most effectively. So I want to give you some tips on what you can do to keep it relevant and fresh and meeting your audience. So the first thing I would say is make sure that when people get to your website, the first thing they see, it feels like it's really connecting with them. So if you have a particular niche or certain pain points that you really address for people, that you're solving that, you're talking about that right off the bat with your value proposition on your homepage and who you work with and how you can help them solve that problem. Think about your formatting too. Make sure it's consistent across all of your site, that there's not some that's Times New Roman 10, and then over here it's Arial 15, and it just feels very disjointed or sloppy. But in addition to that, think about where can you make things really stand out more, like a headline or bold or italicized, or just do something different with it, because most people are probably going to skim your site. They're not going to read all the text. So you want to grab their attention with that as well and try to keep it fairly concise. Another piece would be in terms of how many menu options you have. A lot of people I see have everything turned on, and some of that's pretty standard canned content from your company, I know. So narrow that down. What are the things that you really want them to see, or for your clients? Because they're not going to spend all that time going to all that anyway. For the most part, they want to know who you are, how you help them, and who your team is. So turn off some of those other menus and really narrow it down. The same way, if you have areas of expertise listed, we can't be an expert in every area. So pick maybe 5 that you can really list as what your expertises are, so that you're not showing them that like, oh, I'm just the jack of all trades. So that's a couple things in terms of formatting as well. In addition to that, think about photography. That's an awesome way to really easily keep your website fresh and engaging. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they had a change with their personal situation. So you want to make sure your website reflects that, because you don't want people going to your website also and then asking you about something. You're like, oh, well, you know what? That's not my situation anymore. And then it's really awkward. So make sure that you are updating your personal information, and people do want to hear about your personal information. They want to know your story. So connect with them, tell them about it, so that way you guys can really relate. And that's the basis of the conversation. So put that in there. Certainly you could do a lot more with your designations, community involvement. I talked about this with social. It's the same thing for your website. People want to know how you're involved. How are you giving back? Think about how you could incorporate that into your website as well. So those are a few tips. There's a lot more you can do with that, but that should get you started and give you that one thing that you can do today to mark it done. And remember, it's all about progress. It's not about perfection. Just stay in there.